Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 7. Well, it is finally time to start focusing on the town. Thanks to the fact that most of the foundations are already done and dusted, and even a lot of the other materials are already delivered, it will be a matter of organizing the workers in a way that maximizes their efforts. This will mostly involve buying a couple more buses, and setting construction priorities, so the road and tower cranes are going to the same place as the workers themselves, cutting down on building times considerably. I will also bite the bullet, and take out the first loan of a couple $100K, just so we can start filling up the different storages in Kirchhoff. Having the construction materials so close to the offices will speed things up quite a bit. Let's start by setting the first two buildings in the town to high priority. This should ensure that when the cranes become free, they will go to these first, and the buses will also deliver workers there. We also had the second fire in the Republic. These single fire truck setups are just barely coping with the requirements. Once we have our own people working there, I will definitely invest in more than one firefighting vehicle. It is kind of fortunate that the fire happened in the distribution office. It reminded me that we should start filling up the local storages, and for that, we will need to take out a loan. $300,000 should be plenty enough. I also set the duration of the loan to the maximum of 5 years. Sure, the interest will be more, but the day-to-day payments will be considerably more manageable. Plus, if we pay it back early, we can avoid paying the interest anyways. Next, I thought it was about time I finally replaced that high-voltage power line with some underground cables. The main line will remain overground, but I think it looks better like this. Now that these bushes are fully grown, we should see how they look now. Maybe they are a little bit too big. If we trim down the very top of the hill, it should look a bit better overall. Not much difference, so I think I will leave it as is. To speed things up in the town, I think we need to invest in more buses. A total of 6 will do, I think. To make them even faster, I split them evenly between the two construction offices, and told one of them to start using the second customs house for worker pickups. That should help distribute the workforce a bit more evenly. Once the town is up and running, we can just reassign them all to the office we placed on the island. The open storage has enough materials to start using it. And if that's the case, I suspect the warehouse also has the necessary components stored up to start using that as well. And with that, we are no longer using the customs houses for direct pickups from the offices. Sure, we are using them to keep the local storages filled, but that's beside the point. Well, almost. Since we cut power to the truck loading station for gravel, we still need to get that from the border, but once we have power again, it will be operating from local storages exclusively. Things are already happening in the town. The secret police is well on its way, and before the episode is over, we will have a lot of these buildings ready to go. Next, we need to sort out the distribution center for Estergrad. As usual, we are going to build it around a train-based delivery system, even though it will take a while for that system to go live. This time around, I'll just use a cargo station for everything, instead of having a separate track going to the warehouse. This will house the food, clothes, and electronics. We will also need a freezer for the meat. The last thing on the list is a distribution office. Might as well just go for the big one. I bet we will have at least 3 stores in the town, maybe more. Well, that was unfortunate. Good thing we have a double road set up, so it won't interfere with anything important. There. Took me long enough. Next, let's sort out the train tracks leading to the distribution center. First, we need to sort out the slopes, and once that's all taken care of, placing the tracks themselves will be simple as pie. I was considering leaving the middle of the junction as a little hole, but let's see how it looks if it's all level ground. As you can see, this junction will be a bit bigger than usual. No reason, just thought I should give it a try. Before I place the rail switches, let's sort out the station itself. Since we are still using right-hand drive on the tracks, the most logical place to have the incoming lanes is in the back. This means they need to have parallel tracks for a little longer, so the platforms are long enough, in case a longer train wants to enter. The other end of the station will deal with the outgoing traffic. Now, I know I could have used this opportunity to have another overpass, and have the tracks using the westbound side of the main line go under, so there are no tracks crisscrossing each other. But this place should be fairly low traffic anyways, so I don't mind. With buildings getting completed in Estergrad, we need to keep setting new ones to high priority. That should do it. Incoming trains will be funneled towards the Riverside entrance, and trains will leave in the front. Now that I look at it, I might change my mind, and still build that overpass. Or maybe use tunnels to go under the embankment. We will see. All that's left is to make the embankment stand out a bit more, so it looks like it was elevated artificially. Just a tiny bit of smoothing, and it's done. Oh right, we have some trees to replace too. Looks good in my opinion. The slope is gentle, and the junction is big enough that the middle tracks can act as Q blocks, basically breaking one big junction into 3 smaller ones. The only issue I can see is that the distribution office will not have power, so we cannot have fuel in it for local refilling. And I'd rather not waste another outlet on the transformer for a single building. We can just have a gas station in the town, and that will take care of things. Before I get to that, we also need to add a prison. I don't expect a lot of crime in the early years, so one that can house 90 prisoners will be more than enough. For some reason, the game didn't want to let me replace those trees. I will manage to squeeze them in before the episode is over though. I'm really not satisfied with the frequency of worker arrivals at the asphalt and concrete plants. Adding 2 more microbuses should help matters. That should do it. Now the supply of those 2 materials should be more constant. Next, I wasn't very happy with how barren this area looked now, so I decided to place a couple bush patches for some variety. Didn't go wild and filled everything in. Just did it in a couple places. Might as well tell the storages to let me know if they run out of anything. Never hurts to be informed. I was seriously considering reorganizing the vehicles in the construction offices in Kirkomov. But I think I'll do it once the list is finalized. We have a lot of machinery yet to buy, so it will get jumbled up again anyways. While the buildings are getting built, we can also give the last remaining infrastructure sites a last bit of boost by giving them high priority. I don't think I want this footpath here. I'd prefer if the guards went in from the back. Now, this last piece of footpath will need a service connection to be built. Vehicles seemingly don't want to use the elevated footpath, and they cannot go through the rail CO, so a simple dirt footpath will do the trick. This road is the only thing I really don't like about this construction hub. But, thanks to my lack of foresight, it will have to stay crooked. Maybe I will try to hide it with some trees. Cool, a little boost to our oil exports never hurts. Good thing I checked on the customs houses. I saw that we had quite a few dumpers waiting around, so that reminded me to check the underground power cable, which finished in the meantime. We can tell the offices to use the loading station again. With that, all the building materials are accessible locally. That should speed things up quite a bit. Finally, managed to put those trees back where they belong. I'm not happy with how the Lenin statue is obscured by so many things. I cannot really do anything about the footbridge, but the two poplar trees can go. At this point, we might as well finish upgrading these long roads. The bulldozers aren't busy, and that's all we need to finish them. And the Estergrad University is finished. We are really making good progress today. Spending all that time on Kirkomov really paid off. Well, I was about to watch this bus go all the way to the rail CO, but it got built in the meantime. I guess a bulldozer got delivered. And the rail CO is in range for most things. It cannot reach that second housing block, but it does the first one, and that's all we really need. Since at this point, we only really need the buses to go to the town, we can start doing other things. Like upgrading more roads, for example. I wanted to make sure, and indeed these rail segments are long enough for Q blocks. Instead of one big junction, we have 3 small ones. Now, good thing I took a look at this Lenin statue's range. It is pitiful. To keep people loyal, we will need more monuments in the city. At first, I wanted to place some playgrounds behind the secret police HQ, since it's in front of the second apartment block. But we still have that empty space directly in front of it, so I just went with a regular monument. Those small ones are a bit, well, small. But this hammer and sickle one will do just great. Might as well do the greenery around it now. Some beech trees on the sides and in the back, and some bushes to fill in the rest. This big empty plot should also be a good place for some inspiring decorations. Maybe one more, in front of the university. Just a bit more to the side, so we don't block the windows too much. I will wait for them to be finished, before I start messing around with ground textures. Now that some of the buildings are finished, we can see where the windows are, and plant trees accordingly. I wanted to see if maybe I can add one poplar tree on each side of the statue, but the bushes were planted too close, and there wasn't enough room. Let's just place a couple extra bushes here and there, and I'm done decorating for now. We managed to fill up the storages quite well, and didn't use all of the loan. Just so we can cut down on the interests, let's repay $100,000 now. Well, I think we did all right for such a short episode. The majority of buildings are done in Estergrad, and the clothing industry is also progressing at a decent pace. I think the next episode will be mostly about setting up the regular deliveries for the island. For that, we might need to rush the distribution center. There is no point in moving consumer goods to the shops if we will change the whole thing a few months later. Also, I will try to look into changing how that railroad junction operates for the town deliveries. The more I think about it, the more I want to eliminate crisscrossing tracks, and use an overpass to separate the two sides of the main line. As I've said before, this place will be so low traffic, that there is little point in doing it, but there are two reasons I want to do it. One is that we haven't started building the tracks yet, so might as well work on it now, instead when there are things running on it. And second, I'm getting a bit tired of these bland T-junctions. I want to do something a bit more interesting. Like that big mess of tracks we had around the capital city's distribution center in the last series. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. If you are more in the donating mood, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description, where you can buy me a glass of water. I don't really drink coffee. Thank you for your support, and until next time, I will see you later.